Instagram and Facebook, Condon Ministries, CONGDON, G is silent. And then Dave and Marcia Ann. Dave and Marcia Ann Condon is also our Facebook, more of our personal Facebook page, but you can still follow us. And then we have a YouTube channel too, which is Condon Ministries. So need to type that in. I don't know if you want to
put all that in.
Yeah, we'll have that. And we are the Condons.
Yes. I am Dave.
And I'm Marcia Ann.
Welcome to Healthy Heart, Healthy Marriage. This is week number 10. We kind of do this every Thursday night for about 15, 20 minutes.
Try to keep it short.
Keep it real short. Be mindful of your time. And then we just talk about life and marriage and what it means to have a healthy heart so you can have a healthy marriage.
Yeah, and that really goes across the board. The healthier the heart, the healthier relation. You'll be able to do relationships in a healthier manner. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to set healthy boundaries, and you're just not going to let everybody in and try to please everybody. You instead can set boundaries for yourself and not be, we'll just say what, you might not take offense as easily, and you're secure in your identity. So, yeah, it makes a difference when your heart is healthy. And that takes time, because I have to say we weren't even aware that we had some heart boo-boos, serious heart issues, until we then became married and did life together, and then we realized, oh gosh.
I'm going to say we'll back up. In our single time, we worked on ourselves.
Yeah, we did.
And I thought I had healed from all my past stuff,
mm-hmm.
But that's different being a single person living on your own, where you're not being challenged by someone in a close proximity. And I'm going to say same for you also. You worked on yourself before got married. And so when we got married, we talked about that.
Yeah, we did retreats and conferences and counseling and all kinds of things.
And so then when we got married, I think it was a little bit of a shock to
still have those areas that needed work. And I think part of the breakthrough for both of us happened when we stopped blaming.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you blame, there's no way you can look at yourself and blame at the same time. Mm-hmm. It's not possible. It's just like what he's been showing me this week is you can't put the car in reverse and expect it to go forward.
Right.
It's not going to. So if you continue to live in the past, you're not going to go forward. And so blaming kind of keeps you stuck in the past, because you're not able to then reflect on yourself and do that self-reflection and look at yourself and figure out what your part is in it. And we all have a part. We don't do life by ourselves. We have people that we do life with, so therefore we're going to be interacting. We, as children, could have made judgments against our parents, so therefore that'll come back. We'll reap that. So there's just things you have to look at and see, oh, wait, this is my cycle. This is my fruit. This is my judgment. This is, my story. And so let me first look at myself before I go to quickly blame somebody else. And it is easy. It's really easy to blame. We've talked about that before.
We have.
Just so we need to look at even in the Garden of Eden. That's the first thing they did. She blamed the serpent. He blamed God. We can just blame. Yep. But tonight is on anger and not going to bed angry. And the damage that it can do when you choose to just stay angry. And then go your separate ways, or just go to bed angry, just choose to ignore it, put it off. It goes then into the next day. You're bringing that into the next day. You're then including to plant those seeds in the next day too. Seeds of anger, or seeds of resentment, or seeds of bitterness. And the enemy can just, he will have a field day with it, even while you're sleeping, where you'll wake up even more angry than you went to bed.
Well, that goes to the verse that you wanted to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
The Ephesians 4, 26, and then I tagged on 27.
Mm-hmm.
You want to read it or got it?
You can.
Okay. It's be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and do not give opportunity to the devil. And that's the ESV versions. So you can be angry, but just don't sin in your anger.
Right. And anger is fine. It's an emotion, and God gave us all our emotions and said it's good. When he created us, actually, he said it's great after he created man. So the emotions, too, were great. Jesus had all those emotions. He just didn't sin by them. And that is really who we need to be following, as far as he set a great example for us to follow. And so, but what happens is we give power to our emotions, and the emotions then control us.
Right.
And then that's when we can be led by the emotion and fall to sin with it.
Well, yeah, right, and absolutely. And then if you go into bed angry, you're basically giving you're gonna dwell on that thing. You're gonna seethe in that thing. You're just giving the enemy an opportunity to put more division between you and the person that you're angry at. Mm-hmm. And that's not what God wants. He wants you to reconcile and come back together, because he doesn't want you angry at each other. He wants you to be able to work out the differences in a calm and rational manner.
Yeah, because in many cases, we have to remember that fear is the root of anger. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, wait, what am I afraid of? Is a great question to ask yourself when you're angry. Wait, what am I fearful of? Am I fearful that he's going to leave me? And so this is why it's turned into anger down deep. You know, I felt rejected by my own dad. Or I felt rejected by my own mom, so I believe that people will reject me. You know, in that case, we might start an argument just to be heard, just to be seen. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times at night is when that can happen, because it's nighttime. The day, whatever's happened all day long, could have gotten to us. Or it's kind of, you can get lonelier at night. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like the sun is set. You know, I just think, well, in deliverance, we say usually that's when other activity is going on in the spirit realm at night. That it does. You can get just tired. You can be overtired. And that can lead you into a disagreement. So the key is to get to the root quickly. Mm-hmm. Whoa, wait a minute. You know, get that, you know, hit the pause button. If you've got like a pause button or something you can use, a keyword, a code word, use it when you feel it escalating. Just sometimes even saying, hey, well, wait a minute. And Dave, you're good at this. Let's bring Jesus in. Let's say a prayer real quick.
Well, what comes to mind is the Proverbs 15:1, which I set up there. A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. I know sometimes we can fire back and forth, but it's when you can stop and say, okay, let's take it down a notch. Let's bring it back. I know you're hurt. I know something's upset you. Let's bring it back down so we can actually communicate, so I can hear what the underlying issue is that you're trying to give me. Because when someone's yelling at you, I'm certainly not going to be listening. I'm going to be shut down, and so I'm not really listening to what you do. I'm going to get my defenses up and want to fire back. But if we're down talking about it,
right,
it makes it easier to get to the root of, okay, what happened, and then realize, oh yeah, honey, I absolutely did ignore you today, and I'm really sorry. You know, and that's where we can get to the root of whatever it is, and we can then address that and make amends from that, and then reconcile back.
No, I'm just laughing because I got this image of, you know how when you are trying to make conversation with someone who doesn't speak your language, and you start talking really loud.
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah, and it's like, why am I talking so loud? It's not like they can't hear me. They just don't understand what I'm saying. And I think that's what happens. We can like start just yelling, thinking the person can't hear us when they can. And we allow that anger to come in.
Yeah.
And then it can escalate so quickly. And before we know it, we're just, oh my goodness, especially just don't bring up the past.
Oh yeah.
You know, have rules. Like we have like guidelines, and they're important, you know, especially when you never were taught conflict resolution in your home, and you don't know how to resolve conflict because you never were shown it. It doesn't mean you can't do it. You know, at some point you got to stop blaming your parents.
There it is.
I don't know who needs to hear that.
Yeah, someone needs to hear that.
What about the hundreds of thousands of people that also didn't see that in their place of origin, their family of origin, but yet they figured it out and they made a different decision? You know, you need to look at, okay, wait, why am I giving so much power to my parents when I have my own brain, my own spirit, my own soul, my own free will, and I can choose differently if I want to? And
Correct.
Something I saw the other day, and I'm like, oh, it was almost where I just wanted to do a dance, you know, yeah. Nay, nay, whatever that is.
And I'm getting coffee over here.
So, it said, you know, we make mistakes. We're human. We make a mistake. But a repeated mistake is no longer a mistake. It's a choice. And that's something you got to look at. If I'm continuing to yell and scream to get my voice heard, to get my point across, and it's not working, at that point, you're like, okay, I'm choosing to do this. Why am I doing this? Why do I need to yell? When did I not have a voice when I was younger? And I need to look at it. And I feel like the louder I am, and why do I feel it's so important that I take my opinions, my feelings, and I cram it down my spouse's throats? Like, they have to feel what I feel. They have to experience what I experience. They have to get it. No, they don't. They're a separate. This is where codependency is evil, because it doesn't allow you to see the person as separate. They have separate feelings, separate dreams, separate visions, separate giftings. Everything is separate. So they're going to feel differently. They're not going to see things in your perspective. They're two different perspectives. There's even different ways of hearing. You might hear from a place where it's like, sounds like, sometimes he sounds like my dad, and it triggers me. But he's not my dad, but he sounds like it. So I've learned to now say it. You're sounding like my dad. So you got about
I'll stop.
A few seconds here before
stop.
I'm gonna
take it back. And okay, so I'm sorry. I don't want to be authoritarian. Let's bring it back, and we want to be, because we're a team.
Yeah, and we have to say those words. Oh wait, we're on the same team. We're for each other.
We want to understand each other, and we want to be able to communicate to each other.
Yeah, and it's amazing what those key words will do. Because then the brain, and the more you say them, like sometimes, like what helped us is we speak it, we write it down, we exchange it and read it out loud. So the brain is getting it. It's like, usually it says like 3 times it takes for the brain to like, oh, okay. And so then the next time it's quicker to pull that up. And it's like, oh no, I remember this. Okay, the key word is, we're a team. The key word is, I'm for you. We're in this together. Whatever the key word is.
Whatever it is for you.
I love you.
Bring it back.
Shut up.
whatever you need to do to bring it back to a place where you guys can actually communicate and get to a place of reconciliation or understanding of what the issue is.
Yeah, and the key is to not go to bed angry. So you can possibly have not resolved it, and you have to go to bed, because you know what, after if it's been going on 15 minutes, stop it. You got at that point, you're just both trying to force your will down the other person.
You're both trying to share your opinion and your thoughts and defense and attack,
and there's time when that happens that you're not even probably aware of what you even first were upset about. I've had that before, where the Holy Spirit's like, do you even know what you're upset about? No, but I'm a yell.
And I got this, and this I still can yell about.
You remember 18 months ago when and don't do that.
So don't hang on to the file cabinet.
Right. Don't bring up past, don't keep, and this is scriptural too, in 2 Corinthians, when it talks about love,
rights of,
don't keep a record of wrongs.
There it is.
Boy, I got convicted of that when there was a teaching on it. And I was like, oh, Roy, I know I've done that, and highlighted it, underlined it, definitely made a song to it, it was just like, and so, you can blame for as long as you can, and that sometimes makes you feel better, but if you just gotta, face the music.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm the one upset, I'm the one with this history, this is my cycle, these are my judgments, and at some point you gotta go, okay, I gotta stop projecting my anger towards even other men on Dave.
Right.
I have to stop. You have to at some point say, wait a minute, he's not my dad, he's not the man who assaulted me, he's not my first husband who physically assaulted me, no, he's not that. It's like, okay, wait, I'm sometimes projecting all that anger that what I didn't get to say to all that to them, onto him. And it's like, oh no, wait, that's not healthy. And that's where the self-reflection comes in.
Yeah, that's where also bringing it back down to a manageable level to communicate. And sometimes if you're not in a place where you can, that's where you say, okay, time out. We need to take a break, and we'll come back to this. Because clearly you're still upset about something, and clearly I'm not understanding it. And I'm now being triggered, and I'm now going to get upset. Now I'm going to start saying things I don't want to say, and that's not going to help us resolve this. So let's take a little break, chill for a bit, and let's come back.
Yeah, because you're a fixer. So sometimes he's like
wanting
to fix it right away, and I'm like, honey, you need to let me just be by myself for a little bit so I can figure some things out. I can do some self-reflection. I can process through some of this instead of him like in my face immediately trying to make everything better when I'm like, no, I'm
but
not
I can.
ready.
You just got to listen to me.
And
I can tell you how.
I need some time. And that's okay too. You're an individual, you have certain needs, and sometimes you need to process through.
Sure.
And if that means you have to go to your quiet place, just don't do it in an angry way and where you're getting even. Like because ignoring a person, that's not getting your quiet processing time. That's kind of being manipulative.
Yeah, we don't want that.
That can make a person feel very ashamed, like they're invisible, they don't matter. That's not kind. And that's the key, is remember to be kind. To have a kind heart even though you're upset. One time, when I was very angry at Dave for something, and this was like our first year of marriage, so angry. I believe something had come up with the pornography, and I think I was just very upset about it. I think he had finally admitted to it or something. You were in the bedroom. I was just, maybe it was the second year.
Yeah, okay.
And I was just like letting him have it. I know exactly. Yeah, because we were in this house, and he was in the bedroom, in the master bedroom. The closet door was open, and he was standing. We have like this bureau that's built in the closet, and so he was standing there, and I was just vomiting all over him. And right then, in front of my eyes, he turned into Jesus. And I saw it in the flesh. It wasn't like a vision. It was a split second. And it took my breath away because it was so powerful and at the same time convicting. And I realized right then what he was showing me is, you blast your anger towards my son, you're also doing it to me, because I am in him and I love him. And boy, I remember I immediately started apologizing to you, like instantly. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. and it was done. It was like over. And yeah, that was, and we need to think that, okay, wait, as I berate, as I nag, as I shame, whatever I'm doing in this place of anger, I'm also doing it to Jesus. Because if they live inside Jesus, then we're doing it unto him too. And so that was something that was an awakening moment for me. It doesn't mean I've never gotten mad and yelled at you.
Well, it's not because I'm definitely not Jesus. I'm gonna make mistakes and I'm gonna do things that are stupid, and so it's absolutely, you're gonna get mad at me at times. But it's yes, we're all gonna make mistakes. It's how we handle those mistakes.
Yeah, we navigate in those turbulent waters
to come back to reconciliation, so we can continue moving forward instead of keeping going backwards, and we don't want to go backwards.
Yeah, and it's okay if you don't do it right one time. You know, it's like, that's the thing too. It's like, no, marriage is, I don't want to say it's, but it takes work.
It does. Well,
Two people that are different, trying to.
You may win that marriage lottery where you don't have any issues whatsoever, but for the most part, you're two individuals coming together, trying to do life together.
Right.
And
you got both histories coming into play, both ways of being raised and however that was, and trying to just bring it all together.
So sometimes you just have to set guidelines.
We've gone over time.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking of guidelines, because we like to keep it under 20. But the guidelines are important.
Yeah, sometimes late at night we don't talk about finances.
Don't bring up something at night.
Something that's going to be a contention. We just, you know what?
Yeah, no.
If we didn't talk about it earlier, it'll just have to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, and don't, like I said, don't bring up the past. Stick to this topic. Stick to the topic. And if something gets heated, you can hit the pause button.
Yeah, you can say, okay.
Oh, and we sometimes even pray before.
Yes.
And we'll bring Jesus in and we'll say a prayer.
If we remember first, because sometimes it's triggered and we're firing off. And it's then, okay, wait, we're going at each other, and that's not what we want to do. We want to
come together
and go at the enemy that's trying to divide.
Yeah, but just make sure that one of your goals, and it's important to write these down, is we're not going to go to bed angry.
Right.
Let us make sure that we still love each other, pray, sleep in the same bedroom, and then even if we have to talk again about it the next day, it's still, there's no anger there. Didn't sit around through the night just fuming. So, and that's so important.
That is absolutely very important.
Yeah, don't open that door, because I'm telling you, woo. Yeah, and then of course, then the next day, what you have to realize is in the next time, you've got to do the same thing, because that's the cycle then you're starting. Okay, we won't resolve it in one day. It's going to take us 3. Oh, and the next time, we won't resolve it in 3 days. It's going to take us 4, because it's just like the cycle grows. It's like a snowball effect.
Which is why you want to stop the cycle. So when you're in that situation, you really want to get to resolution at the same day.
Quickly.
So you can have it resolved. And a lot of that is having not being defensive. What's that? Teachable heart? Unoffendable heart.
Undefendable.
And so if someone is bringing something to you, don't automatically get defensive. Try to understand what they want to share with you. And if you're not hearing if what they're saying to you isn't making you say, okay, look, the way you're saying it to me is not making any sense to me. I don't understand. So let's take it back a notch. Walk me through this.
Yeah. What I hear you saying is this,
but clearly I'm not understanding it.
Yeah. And in many cases, it's just a need that's not being met.
Right.
And so we have to look, once again, self-reflect, what need of mine is not being met. And I just don't know how to communicate it. And anger is the only way that I can get it.
Yeah.
I believe the angrier I am, somehow that's going to be more impactful.
Yeah, it has worked in the past.
Yeah. Okay. You think
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Because we don't want to go too long. So we appreciate that. And then next week, I'm not quite sure what the topic's going to be, but we'll figure it out and we'll post it. But like, share, if you're watching on a remix or whatever. Replay. Hashtag replay, and leave us some comments.
Until we're tired. We just were doing a whole bunch of yard work.
Yeah.
So we're like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that too is like, go to bed, get sleep. Sometimes if you're tired and you're hungry, don't start talking about something. Just don't.
Yep.
Wait till the next day. That's the worst time.
Yep.
If I haven't eaten, don't stoke the fire.
Yep. All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks you so much.
Thanks for joining us.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Take care now. Bye.
Bye.